Hello there, my name is Contessa Scott, but you can just call me Tessa, and I've always kind of wanted to do something like this, so I thought I would do a what I watched this month in March. I've got my computer with me so I can look at my letterboxd, but yeah, I watch a lot of movies every month. This was actually a lighter month, so I think this will be a good first one to start out with, but yeah, I just want to go over some of the fun things I watched this month. First watch this month was Mulholland Drive. Mulholland Drive is a film by David Lynch. It's about Betty Elm, who just arrived in Hollywood to become a movie star, and she meets an enigmatic brunette with amnesia. Meanwhile, as the two set off to solve the second woman's identity, filmmaker Adam Kesher runs into ominous trouble while casting his latest project. I really enjoyed Mulholland Drive. I'm slowly working my way through all of David Lynch's work. I'm watching Twin Peaks as well right now also, but this one has always been something on my watch list because I've seen so many beautiful stills from it, and I watch anything that has lesbians in it. But yeah, I loved this movie. I thought it was so interesting and fun and just so weird. I really liked it. The next film I watched was a rewatch for like the 8th time of Please Don't Destroy Us, The Treasure of Foggy Mountain. I've seen this too many times, honestly. It's a film that me and my roommate Zink rewatch constantly. Please Don't Destroy Us, The Treasure of Foggy Mountain is about 3 friends who live together, realizing they don't like their life's trajectory. So they set off to find gold treasure that is rumored to be buried near a mountain. I have seen this about 8 times, so I don't have anything really interesting to say. I know all the jokes, I can quote it. We don't watch it really because we love it. It's more, we saw a pre-screening of it at my college together, and then it has stuck in our brain for months. The next film I watched was American Psycho. American Psycho is about a wealthy New York investment banking executive who hides an alternative psychopathic ego from his co-workers and friends as he escalates deeper into his illogical, gratuitous fantasies. I enjoyed American Psycho. It's not like, I didn't enjoy it like the way that some people do, but I thought it was good. I really liked the production design on it. That was my favorite part. And I mean, the acting in it's incredible. It's also got Chloe Sevigny. I love Chloe Sevigny. So yeah, it was a fun watch. It definitely was one that I need to take off my bucket list. You'll notice this throughout, that I will watch like random things or like random things that I can see through my college, but then like there were definitely some staples scattered in here and there. And the next film I watched was Ricky Stenicki. Ricky Stenicki is about 3 childhood best friends who pull a prank that goes wrong, where they invent an imaginary friend named Ricky Stenicki. 20 years later, the trio still uses the non-existent Ricky as a handy alibi for their immature behavior. But when their spouses and partners get suspicious and demand to finally meet the fabled Mr. Stenicki, the guilty trio decides to hire a washed-up actor and raunchy celebrity impersonator to bring him to life. I saw this through my school's early screening, so I got to see it like a few days before it came out, and it was a good time. I was there alone though, so the act of watching this movie by yourself and then walking home, just music blasting, just feeling like the biggest loser, that did happen, but it was a good watch. Also, there's such an interesting soundtrack attached to this film. Like a Men I Trust song starts playing in the middle of it, which you do not expect. But I also am secretly a fan of wrestling, so I was very happy that John Cena was in this. The next film I watched was Cops, the Buster Keaton film. Cops is about Buster Keaton getting involved in a series of misunderstandings involving a horse and a cart. Eventually, he infuriates every cop in the city when he accidentally interrupts a police parade. I saw this in my world cinema class. I'm in a class that talks about world cinema from 1890s to 1945, and we were talking about both Buster Keaton and then you will later see Charlie Chaplin, but I thought this was really funny. I don't have a lot to say about it. It was just a funny watch. I love silent films. I love old films, so I really enjoy when we watch those. And then the next film I watched was Gold Rush, Charlie Chaplin. Gold Rush is about a lone prospector venturing into Alaska looking for gold. He gets mixed up with some burly characters and falls in love with the beautiful Georgia. He tries to win her heart with his singular charm. I did enjoy watching Gold Rush. I don't have a lot to say because we did watch it in class, but I thought it was fun. Again, I love a good black and white movie, and I thought, the funny parts hit. It's not like laugh out loud funny all the time, but it's enjoyable enough. The next film I watched was Showgirls. Showgirls is about a young drifter named Nomi who arrives in Las Vegas to become a dancer and soon sets about clawing and pushing her way to become a top showgirl. Showgirls was a really memorable watch for March because I watched it on the Criterion Channel's Razzies collection, and it's something I've always been interested in because I've always heard about it, and I really enjoyed it. I think people sometimes like to take things a little too seriously, and that's why this film kind of has a bad rap, but if you watch it for a good time, you will have a good time. And then the next film I watched was Unshin Andalu. Probably not saying that right. Unshin Andalu is a classic European avant-garde surrealist film that cooperates director Luis Buñuel and Salvador Dali. The film changed the way people made movies. The most famous scene is a woman's eye getting cut in half with a knife. This was a really fun watch. It's another world cinema watch, but I love surrealist films, and I also really, again, like this time period, so it was really fun to watch this, and my teacher explained the stories and stuff behind it in its making, so that was a really good time. The next film I watched was All of Us Strangers. All of Us Strangers is about one night a screenwriter, Adam, in his nearby empty tower block in contemporary London, has a chance encounter with his mysterious neighbor, Harry, that punctures the rhythm of his everyday life. As Adam and Harry get closer, Adam is pulled back to his childhood home, where he discovers that his long-dead parents are alive and living and look the same age as the day they died over 30 years ago. I cried so hard watching this. I watched this with my roommate Zink, and we were in shambles. It is so sad, but so beautiful. I also must say I am a huge Andrew Scott lover. I love him. So he does a great job in this movie. Paul Mescal does too, but I personally love Andrew Scott. The next film I watched was A Nous la Liberté. A Nous la Liberté is a classic French satire. Louis, a convict, escapes from prison and takes on legitimate work, making his way up in the business world. Eventually, he becomes the head of a successful factory, and Louis opts to modernize his company with mechanical innovation. But when his friend Emile finally leaves jail years later and reunites with Louis, the past catches up with him. The two, worried about being apprehended by the police, long to flee the confines of industry. This was a fun watch. It was the film we watched at the beginning of the unit about the introduction of sound into film, and I thought that was such an interesting pick for that and such a fun watch. It was really, I don't know, I enjoyed the watching of it more than I really almost enjoyed the film, but it is good. I just really liked that this was the film that we watched for that unit. The next film I watched was Anatomy of a Fall. Anatomy of a Fall is about a woman who is suspected of murdering her husband, and their blind son faces a moral dilemma as the solo witness. This was one of the most stressful watching experiences I can think of. It was so good, but I am not the biggest fan of courtroom dramas. But that should say something about how good this film is, because I've never really chose to watch a courtroom drama, but I was standing in front of the TV like it was a football game. That's how stressful it was. So yeah, it's so good. I think everyone should at least try to watch it. And if you don't like it, no hard feelings, but I mean, you gotta. The next film I watched was Brian De Palma's Sisters. Sisters is about an inquisitive journalist, Grace Collier, who's terrified when she witnesses her neighbor, fashion model Danielle Brenton, violently murder a man. Panicking, she calls the police, but when the detectives arrive at the scene, they find nothing amiss. Grace is forced to take matters into her own hands. This movie was so freaky, so interesting, and I loved it. I am a Brian De Palma fan. Carrie and Phantom of the Paradise are two of some of my favorite movies. And this has always been on my watch list, so I'm so happy I saw it. I loved watching this. I watched it with my mom over spring break, which was really fun. But yeah, I love Brian De Palma's use of split screens. I know some people aren't a fan, but I love his split screens, and I love that his split screens move throughout the frame and how they interact. It's my favorite. The next film I watched was Sofia Coppola's The Beguiled. In The Beguiled, a Southern girls' boarding school during the Civil War takes in an enemy soldier. As to provide him refuge and tend to his wounds, the house is taken over with sexual tension and dangerous rivalries. This was my second to last Sofia Coppola movie I needed to watch until I was finished with everything, not counting the Bill Murray Christmas special because I'm not watching that. I am not the biggest fan of period pieces, also like Civil War, not very interested in. So this was like when I was not dreading, but I wasn't like that excited for. But I found it interesting enough. I am a big Kirsten Dunst fan, so of course I had to watch it. But no, it's interesting. Also, Colin Farrell is like crazy in this, so that's fun. But yeah, I did actually enjoy this more than I thought I would, which is surprising because again, every element of this movie except for some of the cast is things I am never interested in. Then the last movie I saw this month was Sofia Coppola's On the Rocks. On the Rocks is about a young New York mother who is faced with sudden doubt about her marriage and teams up with her larger-than-life playboy father to tail her husband. This is my last film of the month and also the last Sofia Coppola movie I needed to see to finish her filmography. I have been kind of pushing this one back because I knew it would not be my favorite, but I decided I would bite the bullet, I guess, and finish her filmography. And I mean, it's not awful, don't get me wrong, it's just not my favorite. I'm also not the biggest fan of Bill Murray. Rashida Jones does do a great job in this film, but it's almost like if the film Day Trippers just wasn't very fun, if that makes sense. I love the film Day Trippers with Parker Posey, and this just felt like a sour remake of it. So that's what I watched this month. This was, again, like a lighter month for me because I went back home, but I thought this was a good month to start doing these. Give me any suggestions if you want to see anything, but not video essays because I'm not doing all that. But yeah, I think I might do Sofia Coppola ranked, like my favorite to least favorite Sofia Coppola. So if you want to see that, let me know because I got a lot of opinions on that. Yeah, I hope you liked this. I don't know what's gonna happen with this, but I thought this would be fun. I don't know, little project. All right, bye.